black-winged stilt. This is around 37 centimeters. It is difficult to mistake this elegant and striking shorebird for any other species, and fascinating to watch one wading steadily through the water, snapping delicately at flies and other aquatic insects as it goes, sometimes ducking its head under the surface. A noisy bird, several pairs will band together to mob an intruder with repeated yelping calls, a resident species throughout the area. The black-headed gull. This is around 40 centimeters, a winter visitor to the seacoast and inland lakes and rivers. It is particularly common in Pakistan and northwest India, but is not yet recorded from Sri Lanka. A familiar bird around harbors and fishing villages. It scavenges from beaches or tide line and is constantly to be seen wheeling around or beating steadily over the water in search of something edible. Best distinguished from the next species, that is the brown-headed gull, by the wing pattern. The brown-headed gull, it is slightly larger at 44 centimeters, found in winters on all coasts, although never far out to sea, and also on some inland waters. An effortless flyer, turning the head this way and that as it floats along, always ready to lower its leg and plunge down to the water and join the scrimmage for a dead fish or other morsel. Both the species, the black and the brown-headed, acquire the dark heads of the summer plumage in the early spring. The brown-headed gull is characterized by a black patch on the outer flight wings. The Indian river tern. This is also the size of a black-headed gull. A river haunting tern. It occurs in the plains throughout Pakistan, India and Bangladesh. Although not specially sociable, several may beat up and down the same stretch of water now and again, plunging in head first to reappear, if lucky, with a little glistening fish. It nests on sandy bars or islands, and like other terns, noisily attacks intruders. The collared dove. It's around 30 centimeters. It's a very common and familiar throughout the area except in the eastern Himalayas. Its sleepy cooing can be heard in gardens, cultivated areas and light woodland. A gregarious bird gathering in flock to feed on the stubbles and flying up with strong noisy wing beats. The spotted dove. This is around 30 centimeters and it's very widely distributed in southern Asia. It is found throughout the area, frequenting rather lush wooded countryside. It is a popular cage bird and is familiar around villages and gardens where it walks about on the paths picking up grain. It has a longer series of cooing phases than the collared dove. The blue rock pigeon, it's around 32 centimeters. This is abundant around cities and towns throughout the areas. There are still wild populations of this pigeon which live around ruins or cliffs, feeding in nearby fields. The rich throaty coo and the strutting neck swelling display of the cock are well known to all. Rose ring parakeet. The most abundant and well known of its family, this parakeet is to be found throughout the area in light woodlands, parks, gardens, and cultivated areas. It is a pest of some importance as the noisy flocks do much damage to crops and fruit. Although beautifully adapted for climbing about in trees, with two toes pointing forward and two behind, they sometimes visit the ground, sliding about with a rolling gait on their short legs. The nest is placed in a hole near a tree, those with small entrances being suitably enlarged or sometimes in cracks or holes in masonry. These and other parakeets are favorite cage birds, but are not specially good at learning to speak. Alexandrine parakeet, a voracious bird capable of doing great damage to crops, flowers, or fruits with its powerful beak. Very sociable and noisy. It sometimes gathers in large flocks at roosts, often with other species. The nest is placed in a hole high in a tree, only rarely near human habitation. This parakeet is widely distributed in wooded country.